I remember the first time I ever came to London in June 2018 on an absolute whim with just my grandma in a backpack. It had always been my dream to visit London, ever since my mom read me Peter Pan for the first time when I was 3. So, if 12-year-old me, the one who first stepped foot on English soil holding hands with her grandma, if she knew about the life I live now, well, she would have literally had a seizure, which is weird to think about in one way or another because over the past 2 years I've gotten so accustomed to living here that I do find myself taking it for granted at times. To me, London is like a situationship I can't escape. I hate it almost as much as I love it. So here's to the messy relationship of passion and loathing between this city and I. Make the world feel something. Kids, this is your Auntie Beth and I in London. We just had such a lovely hangout. We're at Tottenham Court Road station. Kids, does it look any different now? Okay, I need to get my phone because we use phones to tap into the thing. I don't know if you have microchips or whatever. Kids, what the hell's going on? Yeah! Kids, your auntie's broke.
No, I'm not. My phone has a glitch, guys, so I don't pay for any of the tubes. It does it.
I am, what? Okay, Bethany.
No, I know.
We're sitting in the walking line.
It kind of looks, when you look at it through like a film way, it looks quite dystopian.
What if they just ban all technology in the future?
I had a conversation with my dad the
I would
other
love
day
that.
about how he thinks money should be erased from society. And I was like,
But it's sort of happening with the recession that we're in.
yeah.
Nobody gets paid anything.
Orpheus, Scottish Orpheus, Dylan Wood, the love of my life.
Kids.
Maybe that's your husband.
That's my husband. I swear to God, I'm just an orgasm from his wait for me. Kids, you better be over 18 by the time that we're talking to you right now.
Kids, if you're younger, why are you watching this? That's where you go, my queen. Oh, your train is coming. Bye.
I love you so much.
It is true London gloom today, which after weeks of sunshine feels romanticizable. Except it's actually pouring, which I feel like you don't really see in London. Like, it has such a reputation of being a rainy city, but actually it barely rains, and if it does rain, it's very like unserious rain. But this is 1 minute outside and you are fully drenched. Okay, like I'll actually show you. Hold on. What's more fitting as a parting gift from London than to remind me of what it's known for? I'm leaving London in a week. A week and a day. It's one of those moments where I only really got to see the full beauty of the area that I'm living in currently once I'm leaving. Also, by the way, I'm not full on leaving London. Like, I'm coming back in September, but I'm leaving for the summer. I have a lot of emotions that I want to talk about. With my second year of living in London, I can definitely confirm that London is becoming a home to me. I still spend most of my time and I do most of my growing in London. It's the city that I've learned to adult in. And because I'm here by myself, I feel like I've learned what true independence is in this city and how to go about living in a city by London rules, if that makes sense. Like, when I go home, I'm still very much an adult, obviously, but I feel like all the idiosyncrasies of adult life that are very specific to my hometown, I'm unfamiliar with just because I've learned those same habits in a culture that's totally different to my own. And I do notice a split within me between the place where I grew up and England, where I've matured, but more specifically London, because I've been living in England for the past 4 years, but I've only moved to London 2 years ago. It's weird. I don't know how to explain it. It's also the fact that my parents are home, so when I go home, I'm in their presence. So I guess in some subconscious way, I fall back into the habits of my teenage self, even though technically for the next 2 months, I'm still a teenager. So, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean. And you know what I'm referring to. I'm glad to know that I am leaving this place, because I feel like oftentimes in life, there isn't a clear-cut definition between chapters. Like, here's where this one ends and here's where the next one begins. So I'm glad that I get to savor the last bits of it, however bittersweet they might be. And I'm glad that I can look at the last moments of living in this house and living in this area with a lot more appreciation than I might have had otherwise. I feel like a lot of people will get me when I say this, but whenever I know that something is about to end, and this goes from living in an apartment in a cool area in London to eating a tiramisu, the second that I become aware of the fact that the experience is about to end soon, I look at the whole experience and am overwhelmed with the feeling that I didn't appreciate it fully when I had it. When it's an experience more vast emotionally than eating a tiramisu, even though that's very emotional for some of us, I feel like I tend to gloss over the negative bits of it and just remember the positives and look at it through a rose-tinted lens. But I am constantly trying to remind myself that the only consistent thing is change, because change is inevitable and it's bound to happen sooner or later. And as I've just said, I am glad to know and to have this awareness that my circumstances are about to change, because it makes me grounded in the present and able to appreciate my surroundings while they're still what I know them to be. I'm excited to return back to London in the fall, and I'm excited to move into the new house. But until then, I tend to cherish every corner of this house and reminisce on the memories that were made here. My outfit, aka the outfit that I wear every single video. It's pouring outside and I'm going to a film event. I love her. She's so bright. What did you just get? I got a pair of earrings for my best friend Lola. I will address the rumors. Yes, I am in a graveyard. However, first of all, if I wasn't supposed to be here, why are there benches? Second of all, if I was dead but conscious, I would love for someone to come and podcast where I'm laying. I feel like that would be quite entertaining. Third of all, I've heard of worse stories of what people do in graveyards. So to me, this is quite peaceful. I will keep my voice quite low because I'm not alone. And I don't mean the spirits or the birds. I mean, there's actual people roaming the cemetery. It's about time we actually discuss what I've been wanting to discuss and why you clicked on this video in the first place, I'm assuming. My relationship with London. London is a very present character in the lives of anyone who lives here. It oftentimes feels like a movie set, and I do understand that I have this feeling because my image of London was constructed based on media that I had consumed. So in my eyes, when I see all the streets and all the cityscapes act as backgrounds in the films that I grew up watching, they do feel scenic in a way which does contribute to that perception. London is a very loud and colorful place to live in. So loving it is very easy. If you have a dream, you also have access to the resources to achieve that dream. It's the reason why I moved here, because my ambitions couldn't have manifested themselves in another place, or perhaps not to the level that I envisioned them to come to life. Equally, it's a city that's easy to glamorize because, again, a lot of us grew up watching films set here. We read books set here. So it's a very iconic place in the literal definition of the word. And it does feel like living in a postcard a lot of the time. There's so much culture throughout the city. Every single borough, every single neighborhood has such a distinct look and feel to it. Living here, there's always something else to discover. Living here, though, it's inevitable to hate it in a way that goes beyond getting accustomed to all the beauty. The most evident reason as to why I think people learn to hate London is because you can never chill. You can never chill. And I think this comes in part from the cost of living crisis, which I know we're experiencing globally, but I would say it's especially heightened. In an expensive city, you do sometimes feel unsafe. You do have to constantly be on edge and be very cautious, especially walking. Like, I would never dare to hold my phone like this because it would get stolen. You get so accustomed to the fact that that's an expectation that you find yourself just living in fight or flight. There's a fine balance to be struck between putting up with everything negative that makes up living in London and look at it as a price you're paying for the positives of living here. But I do love London culture, starting with all the rules that you have to follow, like which side of the escalator to stand in when you're going into the tube, which I think everybody should implement globally, to what speed you're expected to walk in Central versus places like Hampstead or Fulham. My relationship with London will forever be complicated because it's naive to expect it to be ideal, and it's unrealistic to demand your childhood expectations of a very real place. So even though my love for it is constant, my attitude towards it does ebb and flow. And yeah, I've thought about leaving London, and I've thought about moving away and going to a place where it's a bit more calm and I can live a higher quality of a life for half the price. But time and time again, I am reminded of why I made the choice to move here and why my younger self fell in love with the idea of this big city. So to me, living here is worth it at this stage in my life, and it's the correct place for 19-year-old me to be. Living somewhere more challenging does toughen me up in ways, and I love it here. Yes, it's not ideal and it has a lot of flaws, and there's a lot of struggles that I guess I wouldn't experience otherwise, but there's so much else that London can give me that no other place could. And yeah, I'm leaving London in 3.5 days. Am I stressed? Hell yeah. Do you want to see my to-do list? Just looking at that made me so repulsed and disgusted. I'm soaking it all in because I will miss it over the summer. So yeah, that's my 2 cents. Thank you so much for paying attention to me. All right, peace out. Oh my God, is there a man coming? It was incredibly challenging to find a place to prop you that wasn't a gravestone. Camera's coming down. Sorry. It's so difficult to balance this camera. Oh my God. See, this is what I've been saying. Oh my goodness gracious. Oh my God. No.